Welcome, welcome, welcome to another webinar with an expert. I have Shanail Romane from Perfume Lettuce here with us today. Welcome, Shanail.
Thank you. Thank you for this interview.
So before I get started, I always like to talk about, how did we meet and how did we come about our journey together?
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't know. They just don't know. So if you could kind of share a little bit about that.
Okay. So first, we met many years ago as children, between the summer of junior high and high school. I'm not exactly sure when that was. And then fast forwarding into not today, but 2016, maybe 15. You've seen some of my clothes that I've made, and so you were interested, and I made a skirt for you, a dashiki skirt for you.
Yes, yes. So, So I came across, I didn't even know Shanail was making these clothes until I saw her on Instagram. And that's when I seen it. And I was like, oh my gosh, because, back then, how long ago was that? 2-3 years ago?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, they were that those dashiki skirts were coming out. And I was like, oh, I want one. And you tailored it to fit me. And I've worn it like, I don't take a lot of pictures, but I have worn it like all the time. Like, oh my gosh, love the skirt. And then on top of that, I went and purchased 2 more pieces of fabric. I want to say, was it last year? And I've been meaning to ship it to you. So it's still, the fabric's still sitting in my car. And I got it. But because I want some more skirts. It's getting ready to be summertime and I just want to look.
Yes.
Oh, girl. And with the sun coming out here in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's like, I cannot wait. So I'm going to be shipping those skirts out to you too. But tell us about Perfume Lettuce and how you even came about Perfume Lettuce and you designing and making clothing.
Okay, well, I actually started sewing when I was really young. I actually was hand sewing when I was really young. My mother taught me, and then I've always did hand sewing. So I would say 2014, not even too long ago, I actually started to sew more on an actual machine, which is kind of funny because I wanted to get a skirt for church. I wanted this yellow skirt that I wanted to wear for like a women's event, and at that time I thought it was too much money. So I asked a friend at church, could she help me? So I went out, I bought all my supply, everything that I wanted. And I was at her house for a week and I perfected this skirt. The thing about it is that I thought she was going to help me or, help me along the way by, saying, okay, you do this, 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 and this. She said, I'll sit down. I know that you can do it and I'll just watch you. And she pretty much just took care of her kids the whole time, did whatever she needed to do whatever, housework she needed to do. And I pretty much did this skirt by myself. The only thing that she helped me with was the pleats within the skirt. And I was like, okay. However, that's where I came about wanting to sew more often and sew for people. But I also wanted to teach them as well. It was always at the back of my mind to want to teach people to the art of sewing. A lot is a lost art. A lot of people may think that it's like fast, I need it right now. So they think that you can make something for them extremely fast. But it's a lost art because of the fact that a lot of people don't want to take the time to do it. And it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding when you see someone with your design on, or you see yourself in the mirror wearing your own garments. I mean, it's very rewarding.
And you know what?
There's nothing like it.
Right. And you know what? I even told you, like in the inside of your skirt, you have your signature in the inside of it. And and you absolutely right. Something that you made, that you put your time, energy, perfection, making sure that everything is right into something. I mean, the quality the quality of the skirt spoke to me. Like, oh my gosh, this isn't no, you know,
Yeah.
the way you, I'm telling you, when I flipped that skirt, when I looked at it in the inside, I mean, everything was stitched. Everything was there. I was like, okay, Shanail. But it was beautiful. So
Thank you.
you started, you know, designing clothing, but how did the whole business come about?
Well, the business came about when some family members and some friends, even at church, told me that it was a gift from God. And I was like, okay, so what do I do with my gift? Now, later on in the interview, I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about this gift that God gave me. So I wanted to start this business because of the fact I was like, okay, well, I can make money off of it. I can, you know, just go out in the community, show them what I have, and they would love it, you know. However, that's not always the thing. You got to be focused, you got to be determined, and you have to know your audience, know your target audience. That's a big thing. And so when I began to know that it just started 3 years ago when I incorporated myself, not incorporated, LLC'd myself. It was actually May 8th, 2015 when I started. And I would say from that time on, I've been sewing at least 2 to 3 items a month for myself, and then a lot of different things for everyone else, you know. But I kind of shied away from sewing a lot for a lot of people and got more into teaching. That main thing of teaching someone how to make their own things, how to hem their own pants, you know, how to hem their skirt if it comes loose, just even by hand sewing or even by the machine. I went out during the time of, you know, me getting my business started up and got it, you know, getting it together. I bought like 8 sewing machines, and they're right here with me now. But I bought 8 sewing machines just so I can teach people how to sew. So that's always been in the back of my mind to want to sew for other, you know, to teach other people how to sew, and let them know that it's not how fast you go, it's how, you know, it's the intricate parts of the inside of the garments as well as how good it looks on the outside. So that's pretty much the basis of everything for right now.
So what is the next step? I mean, okay, so now you're teaching, you're still making clothes, but what is like what is your next move?
Okay, well, my next move is to actually start doing like sew parties. You know, sew for me skirt parties, sew with Shanail type of parties.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that, and also incorporating my last name, Romane, but having it as a men's line, because my husband and my 2 boys, I don't have a girl. I am the only girl in the house. So Perfume Lettuce cannot just be, you know, me. So I incorporated my husband's, you know, last name, Romane. And so I will actually be LLCing that, you know, this year as well. So it will be Romane Lane.
And see, you know what? This is an example of She Was Made. You know what I mean? Just hearing your story, your journey, where you started, how you came about, and where you are today and where you're going tomorrow. It's an example of, you know, how we as women, when we are learning something, learning how to do something, our natural talents and gifts that's within us, being purpose driven versus being passion driven. It's all an example of us being made. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that is, I love it. I love it, Shanail. Congratulations to you, girl. Because
But
that is
praise God for
so
everything.
smart. Sew parties and sew your
Mhm.
own skirt. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? You know what I mean? And you have so many women and even men that are wanting to know how to, sew their own and make their own clothing. Um,
Exactly.
so we got the sew parties that's coming up here pretty soon. Are there any, when it comes to sewing, when it comes to, when you look back and you say, you know what, I should have done this differently. I was going to ask you to share some tips, but not just yet. But
Okay.
if you could do anything differently when you started your business up until now, some things that you have discovered along the way, what would you have done differently?
As I was saying earlier about my gift, I would have used it wisely in the beginning. And it's your gift is not just to be sold. Your gift is to give. I would have started out giving back to my community more. Learning who around me needs it and not just who I want my target audience to be. Realizing that God gave me a gift and I need to use it for his people who do not have, who do not know how to sew, and they need to because they can't afford certain things, and they have to hem their clothes, sew up a hole, something just so basic. So I've come to an agreement with my church that I'll be starting some sewing classes within the Virginia area. So if anyone is interested, if you're in the Virginia area and you are in need, or a woman or a man that is in need of sewing tips and tricks and, just basic things, send them over to me to Perfume Lettuce.
Oh, wow, that's powerful. That is powerful. You said something, God gives us these gifts and it's meant to give because he
Yes,
wouldn't have given it to you. You know what I mean? And
that's right.
women, I mean, people, I'm just going to say it, but, because I work with a lot of women, you have a lot of women who want to hold on to that gift and be
Yes,
associated with that gift and think that can't nobody have it. And so that's why, we talk about having the mindset of abundance and understanding that there's more than enough to go around, that what you have, it wasn't given to you just to keep and hold on to. It was given to you to give back to share with other people, to help other people, to, do that. And what ends up happening, you're sowing these seeds, right? You're sowing by giving, you're giving and giving, and ultimately it grows and comes back to you much far bigger than what you've been doing. So a lot of people ask me, well, how are you able to do, these things for free? And how are you able to put on these discussions, these events for free? And it's not always about the money. The money is
exactly,
going to come. The money is there. The money is
exactly.
meant to be circulated. So either way you look at it, it's going to come to you regardless, But I think that's amazing. And, I thought about that scripture that God supplies all of my needs. And
Yes,
he has been, you know what I mean? When you think about everything that you've gone through in your life, God has actually supplied your need through people.
yes,
It's the
yes,
people, that come to you with certain things that you need at that time and at that moment. Just like they say, he don't always come when you want him to, but he always come on time, right when you need
exactly.
him to. So listen, you mentioned tips and tricks. When it comes to some tips and tricks, what are some tips that you can share with us?
Okay, so first off, don't rush. Everything is an instant. So you have to take your time when you're sewing. Everything cannot be done by the machine. Sometimes you have to use your hands. So you have to use that old time fingers and thread and, bringing it together and actually doing something with it. Also, as far as machines, take a safety class first. you know, because you can easily, you know, hurt yourself on a machine if you, depending on what type of machine you have. Also, the foot pedal on the machine is like a car. So you got to go slow. You got to start off slow and not fast, or you will mess up your garments and your machine, especially if it's not an industrial machine. Let me see what else. And just start off with the basics if you don't know. Mm-hmm. Start off with going in a straight line on a piece of paper or some old fabric that you may have around the house, if you would like to start off sewing. That's just a little tips and tricks that I may have for everyone.
Okay. Well, now that you said, okay, so we've got some tips and tricks. What about, you know, I'm a book reader. I love reading self-help books, inspirational books. And the reason why I read these books is because, you know, there's a lot of wisdom. There's a lot of things that you can learn that you apply to your life, and you really get results after applying it. But what are some books that, you know, that you've read, maybe one or two that you can share that has had an impact on your life?
Okay, hold on. I actually do have some. Okay, so the late great Nancy Zeman. I was about to say Susie Orman. I'm sorry, right? I read a lot, y'all.
That lady's so popular.
So Sewing Express by Nancy Zeman is a good book. And it's a lot of basic things that's in here. It's an old book, so you may want to get it from your local library, or you can get it off Amazon. Amazon is like the best to get books from.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they always got something. You'd be surprised for like 23 cents. Also, you'd be surprised. DIY, I don't know if you can see this, DIY Couture, Create Your Own Fashion Collection by Rosie Martin. This is one book. I don't know if you guys can see it that well. I'm trying to bring it closer. But it's by Rosie Martin. And you literally, these books take you step by step on how to sew. And I mean, if you're a beginner, these are really good books on how to sew and how to create your own line of, you know, fashion designs or stuff like that. And also different patterns you can use, like Simplicity, McCall's, Vogue. Vogue can be very intimidating to some people. However, they have like some, when they say very easy, it's very easy Vogue patterns. Sometimes they're so easy, you're like, okay, I think I need to get a little bit, let me just get the easy, you know, version of their patterns. But I mean, they are awesome. And they're when you're reading a pattern, you can go step by step. And this is what a pattern insert looks like. This is one of them. And this is actually on the dress that I just recently made for Easter. So, but I did some modifications to it. So when you're a beginner sewer, you'll do it exactly as you want it, how you want it, but by the book, you know. But when you become a little bit intermediate, you begin to say, okay, I'm going to tweak this and put this on that. And what I do is incorporate different patterns together, so that you can easily make your own outfit or your own garment by itself, you know. So you can like, oh, I like this sleeve on this pattern, so I'll incorporate it with this, with this, you know, bodice, you know, like the bodice of a dress, or, you know, of a skirt bottom.
Okay.
So
I asked you, you know what the question was what was, have you, what were one or two books that have changed your life? But no, this was, it was, you know what, that those two books that you just shared with us regarding sewing and
Mm-hmm.
even with your story, that whole, you know, what changed your life? What had the most impact on your life? And it is your gift, your natural talents and gift that you've discovered, that you've always had within. And these books are just adding more value and adding more, I'm not going to say credibility, but later it turns into credibility because you're learning more and you're applying it and you're doing it. So yeah, that was good, Shanail. That was good. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much.
I know, I'm so excited for you. So what are give us some words of wisdom. I mean, you shared it in the beginning, you know, relating to your gift, but you know, give us, you know, some words of wisdom that we can walk away with and, you know.
Well, when you are, you know what, I actually prayed about this interview because I was scared. And the first thing that I prayed about was like, Lord, please help me to be transparent. Help me to get out what I need to get out as far as my business is concerned and as far as you are concerned. So what I got from the prayer and my answer from the prayer is to be yourself. Love what you do. Love who you are. And it's not going to be easy when you first start out your first business if you are going into that route. No matter if it's non-profit, no matter if it's, you know, for profit. It is extremely hard in the beginning. I can't say hard, it's a challenge. And you'll be up for the challenge because God wouldn't put you in a position for, you know, things to be hard or difficult like that. It's a challenge. So you'll overcome that challenge. You won't make a lot of money if you're going for profit and you think that everybody's going to like your stuff. I've always said this to myself because I've always heard it as far as it comes from businesses. It takes money to make money. It is what it is. It takes money to make money. So yes, you're gonna have to open up a bank account for your business. You're gonna have to get a credit card for your business. You're gonna have to do these things for your business in order for your business to thrive well. You're gonna have to pay for advertisements. You're gonna have to do it. And while I'm speaking these words, I'm taking it in for myself because there are things that I haven't done within my business and that I've been slacking off on when it came to my business. However, this year is my year.
Oh,
you know,
of course. 2018.
And yes, this year is my year, and I'm going to go forward in it. And I hope that the women or even the men that are watching this will take from this, these words of wisdom.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say that I'm wise, but when it comes to a start off business, just take your time, love yourself, and love who you are, and know what you want for your business.
Well, that was perfect. Maybe. That was perfect. How can we find you?
Okay, so I am on Instagram and sometimes on Twitter, but I'm always on Pinterest. You'd be surprised what's on Pinterest, but I'm on Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter at Perfume Lettuce. Instagram, you know, the sign for Instagram, and Perfume Lettuce on Twitter, and Perfume Lettuce on Pinterest as well.
Okay, well, that should be easy for us to look you up. And like always, I'm going to leave that information in the video info. But I want to say thank you, Shanail. Thank you for allowing us to have this interview with you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom, your experience, what you've learned, the tricks and the women tricks and tips. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
Thank you. So until next time, we're going to have some more people to interview for you. Continue to use what you have today to empower tomorrow.